my Christian Lifestyles exam, I have chose the Development of the Whole Person topic. This topic includes 5 characteristics that qualifies a person for this category. Maintains good health habits and practices, exercises her own responsibility to explore and validate her faith, makes moral decisions influenced by Ursuline values and traditions, takes reasonable risks to set goals for her future education and career, has a clear sense of her individual learning styles and intelligences, her special interests, her talents, and abilities. So for this video, I will show you the simple things I have done in each bullet point listed to develop myself as a whole person. It started in August 2012, my freshman year. Honestly, I think I was most excited about the cafe food that Nancy and her coworkers made. Everyone talked about how good it was, and I soon ate it every day. But then it came to a point where I could eat nothing but junk food. So for the maintains good health habits and practices category, I want to use my example of how I changed my eating habits and started to diet and eat better. I started to bring my own lunch and made sure I didn't pack any sweets. I started to drink a lot more water, and soon this change made a big impact on my life as I aimed for a healthier lifestyle. In my grade school, we went to church twice a week, one time for mass practice and another for the actual mass. I quickly got overwhelmed and was excited to get to high school and not have to go as much. So after the first couple of years, I barely went and I felt a lot less stressed. But then I realized that was a childish thing to do. So for my exercises her own responsibility to explore and validate her faith category, I want to list the change I went through from not going to church as much to becoming mature and going on my own without anyone telling me. To explore my faith, I listened to different religions and saw research and decided that being in the Catholic Church is what I wanted. To validate my faith, I decided that I wanted God more in my life, so instead of pushing Him away, I went to Him as I took responsibility and went to church as much as I could. Going through high school, there's a lot of temptations that are easy to fall into. Some things as easy as skipping class or cheating on tests, etc. But then there can be deeper things like teen drinking or doing drugs, many things that can be very harmful. But going to Ursuline can help with those kinds of decisions because of the things that we are taught. For my makes moral decisions influenced by Ursuline values and traditions category, I want to use my examples of not giving into peer pressure and making my own choices. When I was a freshman, I didn't care what people thought of me and did anything my friends did. But now by senior year, I have become very independent and let no one influence my decisions. I have stayed away from being rude to others over social media as well as being rude to people in person. It's easy to fall into temptation, but trying to stay away from it is what I've strived to do. As a freshman, I used to be very lazy and not exactly on top of things. It was very easy for me to fall behind in classes and not really care. But once sophomore year came, I was upset with my school strategies, so I tried to change. For the takes reasonable risks to set goals for her future education and career category, I want to list the things that I did to make a better pathway for my future. I started writing to-do lists with all sorts of things I had to do throughout the week. This change made my life a lot easier as I stopped forgetting to do things. I also tried to stay ahead of the game as much as possible, so that I wouldn't fall behind. For the taking risks part, a high schooler can only risk so much. But at cheer practices as an underclassman, I would put myself out there even though I was intimidated by the other girls. I would make up ideas and voice my opinion and soon became a captain for my junior and senior year. For the has a clear sense of her individual learning styles and intelligences, her special interests, her talents and abilities category, I want to use my examples of how I found my learning styles, interests, talents, and abilities. I was taught as a freshman that we all learn a different way. I found that I was a visual and auditory learner. For my interests, I found that I like to be creative and artistic even though I am far from being a good drawing artist. For my talents and abilities, I branched out as a freshman and tried cheerleading after being a gymnast in grade school. Once I made the team, I started to develop as a better cheerleader, and I realized it was something that I loved to do. But even more than just cheer, I loved being a leader. That is a quality that will last a lifetime. Going to Ursuline has taught me more about myself and finding things that I love more than I would have ever known about myself if I went anywhere else. Thanks, UA.